Last night, when I did finish the electronics and first testing, it was too late and I couldn't continue further. So today I was planning to do some video editing for what I have shooting in the previous days. But first I said why I'm not going to play around with the machine a little, and especially with the auto home and the Endstop switch, which are one of the important point I want to test in the first place. So I came and run the machine as usual. I'm sorry I didn't prepare for this, but I want to share it with you. So I went to the main screen. So I go to the custom command and the home of X and Y. And before that, pay attention that the gantry is in a safe place in the center of the table, and the Z axis also try to raise it to a safe place. So back to the screen, going to home the X and Y. So the machine it's not performing the default behavior. It should move the gantry toward the zero corner and stop in some place. In the end stop we will hit the block, but it's not moving, it's just doing this 2 or 3 moves, and which is not right. Also I want to try the auto Z axis or the home Z axis also. Let me see. The machine is now trying to reach the home on the table surface because there is no Z port or any end stop. I'm going to cut the power manually to not crash the machine. So there is something going wrong. The machine is not doing the auto home. When I'm closing the end stops with my hand, they are responding by the blinking light. That means they are working. And for the connections, I think there is nothing wrong. So I went to the internet, to my computer and to the internet, and did some. I'm sorry, this is my tripod. I will lift the cam here. Now, as I said, I came to the source of the information for the machine, and exactly to the electrical page of the machine, and start some reading in the auto square dual end stop page. In this page, the designer is doing some test for his machine. You can see that the machine is, as we said, it came close to the corner, the zero corner. Mine it's not doing this. So I did go through them. We did everything as it should be with the wiring. But in this section, this catch my eyes: testing and calibration. The designer is by doing all the connection, use the M119 command to see the status of each end stops. So how we are going to send this command to the machine? Of course, as a first test, we should use the universal G-code sender or some CNC controlling program, and in the electrical page, the software where we want to start with it is an example. The designer is recommending for the testing the repetier-host, and it's a basic G-code sender, and there is this setup page for that program. Because I'm already using a repetier-host to control my 3D printer. I have a Creality CR10S 3D printer which is not connecting with the Cura software, so I'm using the repetier to connect with it. So back to the setting of the repetier-host for our machine, for our mostly printed CNC machine. Just going to the configuration, to the printer settings, and as you see, I did run it. So the port is set to auto. The baud rate is set to 250,000 baud rate as the recommendation in the setting page. Also in the printer tab, the travel speed, I had set them as it should be disabled, these two options. So now by going to the manual control, first we are going to connect our board to the computer via the USB cable. First to the board, second to the PC. Now if you press the connect button, the RAM's port blinked twice and the controller are enabled now, and we have some information in the log window. So let we start by sending the M119. The first reason we have run the program for that. Send. There is too many information. I'm going to clear the log. Before that, let we test if the machine is really connected to the computer or to the repetier-host. I'm moving the Y about 1 millimeter. Yes, the machine is responding. And on the X about 10 millimeter. On the Z up 1 millimeter. Yes, the machine is responding to the program. So again, I'm clearing the log page and send the M119 100 send. So the program had received this information from the board. The EndStop status now telling that the X mean, or the X1, this is the X1, X2, Y1, Y2. The X1 is triggered, the X2 triggered, all them. These four of them are triggered, only the Z mine is open. And this is confirming that there is some reversing in the configuration in the firmware, so that now the physical status of the end switch are now open, but the software is seeing it as closed. We can test this by closing one of them by hand and send the 100, the M119 again. Now the status is telling us that the X2 is open, the other are triggered. Should give us a trigger, not an open status. That means that the logical status is reversed. Now closing the X1, I'm sending the M119. As you see, the X1 now it's open, the other are triggered, which is reverse. So now that we have known that the problem, what is the solution? I did some searching on the internet for that, and in the official forums of the machine. The only solution is to go to the Marling firmware. As this blog says, it is by Dented on Instructable workshop. He also have the same problem with his 3D printer, and by reading his post, I found this line which saved my day. You can see he is saying that change the value from false to true, or other way, for the Endstop outputting triggered when not triggered. My Endstops are doing exactly what the man is saying. They are showing triggered, but they are not triggered. So in the Marling firmware, you must go and correct this configuration. So let's start the solution. To be honest, I did came to this point and I was going to correct it off the camera, but because I started this series for the beginners and I'm one of them, I'm learning too. So from this moment we are going to do it together, and hope that it will go okay. And to be honest, again, filming this, so if I couldn't solve my problem, I may share it with the community of the machine in the forums or on YouTube, and may I have the solution there. But first, let me try to do this configuration. So I'm closing the repetier-host. This is where we downloaded our Marling firmware for the machine. Going to Marling. This is the Marling file of Arduino IDE. I have a little experience with Marlin and with Arduino because I already upgraded my 3D printer firmware from the stock firmware to the 1.9 Marlin. So I'm familiar with some of these configurations. So we'll go to the configuration.h and we are going to look for the dual endstop. Uh, he say that it should be in line 330. So terminal settings. I think because this is a newer version of Marlin, it will be in other line or another place. Yes, the EndStop settings. Yes, this is what we are looking for. As you see, the X mean EndStop and the Y which are for the X1 and Y1. This is the Z, the X max, Y max, which are for the X2 and Y2, are all set to false, which is reversing our actual status of the EndStop. So as the note is set to true to invert the logic of the EndStop. So I'm going to copy this and change the Y to the Z already true, X max, which is be the X2 motor, Y max, Z max. I'm not changing anything. We are not needing it now. So we did change the values, as I said, because I did change my 3D printer firmware. Whenever you change some value here, you have to save the change to the Marlin file. We are going to upload the Marlin. I'm first going to cut the power on the machine and left only the USB cable plugged in. I cut the power from the machine. The ramp has no power to it, just the Arduino Mega through the USB cable. The screen is light because it's taking some power from the Arduino Mega. And also be sure that the only printer or the only board is connected to the computer in this moment is only this board. You are going to upload the firmware to it. We talked about this earlier. So I'm going to check if our configuration of the Arduino IDE is everything is it as should be. Now I'm hitting the upload button. As you see, it started compiling the sketch. It will take some time. Yes, the compiling finished and starting the uploading. As you can see, the ramps board blinking. Now the information is uploading now. Uploading done, and the board has restarted. That means the new firmware with our change is now on the board. Now first let's restart the repetier-host to see if the status has changed or not. I'm connecting to the printer, to the machine. It has connected, no error. Clearing the log, going to the manual, move the X 10 millimeter, the Y 10 millimeter, Z 1 millimeter up, down. Let's see the M119. Yes, as you see, all of them now are giving the status open, which is the actual physical status of the Endstop. I'm going to close it and send the M190. Yes, now as you see, the Y2, as our Endstop say, is now triggered. So let's see the home. I'm going to send the X to home position. Yes, it's now trying to go to the home position, as you see. Before it hits, I will cut the I had some error message on the LCD screen. Don't know if you are reading it or not. I'm going to cut the power and it starts again. Nothing happens, still having the power from the computer. I will hold the cam with my hand. Let's reset it to a safe place. Connect. Clear the log. And I will send the home again. X home. If I'm going to close these both together. Yes, it stopped. Let's send the Y to the home. I'm going to close them by hand. Yes, it stopped. I'm sorry if my hand was shaking too much, or the video is not so clear. I didn't prepare myself to this video to be transparent as much as possible. I wanted to share it with you as it is. Now I'm going to use the screen to send the X or the Y to the home. Going to custom command the X and Y, because I'm holding the camera with my hand. I will cut the power before the gantry hit anything, but just for the test. Now home, X and Y. Yes, it's working. It's trying to get. I cut the power, as I said. Yes, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you did like the video. Share and leave a comment if you have any question. See you in the next video. Bye bye.